The amazing story begins with a man who is on his way home with his son. The man is very proud of his son because whatever he says, his son does exactly that. After reaching home, both sit down to rest, but suddenly the man feels like there is an enemy standing outside, waiting for them. The man immediately hides his son in a wardrobe and tells him not to come out until he says so. As soon as the man opens the door, some goons rush into the house and start attacking him. Among these gangsters, there is a leader who is severely beating the father. The son sees his father being held at gunpoint by several men, but he decides that he won't let his father die this way. He steps forward, but the gangsters push him aside and move towards his father. His father tells him to run away and get out of there. The child listens to his father's words and runs into the forest. Sadly, the gangsters beat the father to death and set his entire house on fire. The child witnessed his father's death with his own eyes, but he was too young to do anything about it. He quickly left the scene. Fast forward many years later, we see an underground fight taking place. This is not just any regular underground fight, it's a fight that continues until one of the opponents loses their life. One of the fighters is a young boy, who is fighting very well. It seems like he has received proper fighting training, and his every move is precise. He defeats his opponent in a brutal manner and wins the match, earning some money in the process. The boy's name is Snake, and he is now preparing to go home. However, soon a businessman named Kanta approaches him. Kanta had watched Snake's performance and was very impressed. He offers to bring Snake into his team. But Snake doesn't want to work for anyone. Just as Snake is about to leave, Kanta shows him a piece of newspaper and promises to fulfill Snake's wishes. After seeing the newspaper, Snake is shocked and decides to work with Kanta. The truth is, many years ago, when the boy's father was killed, that boy was none other than Snake himself. Since then, Snake had been searching for his father's killers. He knew that Kanta had many connections, and by working with him, he could track down all the gangsters and take revenge for his father's death. Kanta then takes Snake to his hideout, where they have captured a man named Tom. The shocking part is that Tom is Kanta's cousin and also his business partner. However, Kanta feels that Tom is betraying him, so he decides that Tom must die. Kanta gives Snake a gun and orders him to kill Tom. Snake moves forward to do as instructed, but for some reason, he doesn't pull the trigger. Instead, he turns the gun on Kanta's men and tries to escape with Tom. He frees Tom, who then pulls out his swords and fights back with great skill. Tom belongs to a samurai family and is highly skilled in combat and swordsmanship. In that moment, Tom and Snake coordinate their moves and manage to escape, getting into a truck. Kanta's soldiers attack them and try to kill both of them. They were so many in number that they stabbed several swords into the truck. Tom manages to evade the attacks, but Snake gets wounded by a sword and loses consciousness. After a while, when Snake regains consciousness, he finds himself inside a private jet. Right in front of him is Tom, dressed in fine clothes, preparing himself. Tom reassures Snake that he is safe and that they are heading to Tom's base, where he operates from. Tom then asks Snake why he didn't kill him when he had the chance. Snake simply explains that when he first saw Tom, he appeared very simple, and Snake doesn't attack innocent people. Afterward, Snake asks Tom why Kanta, his cousin, wants to kill him. Tom directly explains that in their business, there can only be one owner. But Kanta wanted to kill Tom and take full control for himself. Tom couldn't let that happen, so he turned against Kanta. The conflict between the two cousins was growing, and now Kanta was probably searching for Tom like a madman to kill him. For now, Tom brings Snake safely to his grand palace. Snake was completely stunned because Tom belonged to a very wealthy family. He had so much money and such a huge place to live in that Snake's eyes were wide open in amazement. Tom then introduced Snake to a lady named Kira, who was Tom's assistant and helped with his business. They all then went to meet Tom's grandmother, where they bowed their heads in respect. Tom's grandmother thanked Snake for saving Tom's life, and Tom made it clear to her that he fully trusted Snake. He believed that Snake would be a great addition to their team and that he could help take their business to the next level. Snake had excellent fighting techniques, something Tom had already experienced, but Kira advised caution. She suggested that they shouldn't rush into trusting outsiders so quickly. However, Tom had made up his mind. After hearing Tom, his grandmother agreed, but she insisted that Snake prove he was worthy of being part of their family. To do so, Snake had to face 3 important stages. The next day, a master named Hart came to meet Snake. He held 2 bowls filled with water. The challenge was that both Snake and the master would take 1 bowl each and fight to take the other's bowl without spilling the water. If Snake managed to pass all these stages, only then would Master Hart agree to train him. Snake followed the instructions and began trying to take the bowl, but Master Hart was incredibly strong and fast. Snake couldn't even get a proper grip on him. After several failed attempts, Master Heart mocked Snake, saying he wasn't worthy of their family. This statement shocked Snake, and he focused harder. Instead of continuing the fight, he calmly requested that the master give him the bowl. This challenge wasn't just about fighting, it could be solved through communication. In the end, Snake understood this and easily asked Master Heart for the bowl. Master Heart was very pleased because Snake had passed the stage. By nightfall, all the warriors were sitting down for dinner. Kira then explained to Snake that the next stage would be with Master Blade. Master Blade was an ancient warrior who had been part of their family for generations. Snake was becoming increasingly conscious, as he learned that Master Blade and his family possessed the ability to peer into anyone's mind. This made him aware that he needed to be cautious as he entered level 2. That night, instead of going to the next level, Snake took his bike and went straight to a pub. It was here that we learned the truth: Snake was still working with Kanta, and in fact, he was deceiving Tom and his entire family. This entire plan had been set up by Snake and Kanta, with the idea that first, Snake would gain Tom's trust and join his family. Kanta had given Snake the task of stealing a sacred stone from Tom's family. This stone was believed to hold great power, which protected the members of Tom's family. However, Snake eventually arrived to tell Kanta that he would no longer follow through with the plan, as he had come to realize that Tom and his family were not bad people. They were honorable, civilized, and peaceful individuals, not the enemies Snake had thought them to be. At this point, Kanta took advantage of Snake's situation. He revealed that he knew who had killed Snake's father and that he could provide the information Snake wanted. Snake was desperate to find out who had killed his father, and that was the only thing that pushed him to side with Kanta. Kanta then demanded that Snake steal the stone from Tom's family, promising to give him the information about his father's killers in return. Snake had no other choice but to deceive them all, even though he was conflicted. As Snake left on his bike to carry out his task, Kira, who had been following him to learn more about his intentions, noticed him. Kira had started to suspect Snake, and her doubts about him were growing. The next morning, Tom approached Snake and handed him a sword, an ancient weapon passed down through generations in his family. Tom explained that whoever wielded the sword would earn great respect. Snake felt guilty, as Tom trusted him so much, and here he was about to betray that trust. Later that night, Snake arrived at the heavily secured location where the sacred stone was kept. He tried to sneak in stealthily, but Kira appeared behind him. She asked Snake what he was doing there, and Snake simply told her that he was practicing his swordsmanship. However, Kira had already grown suspicious of him from the very beginning. The next morning, Kira decided to test Snake's training by engaging him in a fight to see how much he had learned. She mentioned sword fighting, but Snake quickly punched her in the face. In response, Kira attacked, inflicting significant damage on him. Snake thought no one could outmatch him in a fight, but Kira defeated him with a one-handed move. Suddenly, Kira received a call, none other than Tom's call, summoning her urgently. Snake and Kira immediately headed to Tom, who informed them that Kanta was about to make a big smuggling deal in Tokyo, and they had to stop him by seizing all his weapons. The three of them then set off to the place in Tokyo where the deal was supposed to go down. Tom first outlined the plan. He instructed Kira to go and take out all of Kanta's security guards, while Snake was tasked with stealthily stealing the smuggled weapons. Tom explained that if they secured the weapons, Kanta would be forced to confront him, and he would try to stop him. Everyone got to work on their respective tasks. Kira bravely fought off numerous thugs and took out many of Kanta's men. Snake sneaked into the base to steal the weapons. However, as he entered, a soldier appeared, holding a gun and ready to fight. Before the soldier could act, he realized Snake was on their side and quickly dropped his weapon and left. Snake took advantage of the situation and secured all the weapons. Meanwhile, Tom confronted Kanta directly, and a fierce battle broke out between them. For a brief period, Kanta dominated, but Tom managed to overpower him and decided it was best to flee. Despite the chaos, they successfully got away with several smuggled weapons, and Tom was pleased with how well they worked together. Suddenly, Tom learned about an undercover agent named Aura, who was focused on completely dismantling a terrorist organization. He called Aura to meet with him, but she was busy fighting a gang that was involved in illegal activities. Aura shared crucial information with Tom. A lady had arrived in Tokyo, and she was causing chaos, inciting riots, and even triggering explosions. They needed to catch her at all costs. Upon hearing this, Snake realized the gravity of the situation. He quickly took his bike and headed out to meet Kanta. Kira, who had been following him, was determined to find out the truth, but Snake had already suspected he was being tracked. Using his wit, he managed to outrun Kira on his bike, leaving her behind. Snake was at Kanta's base when he encountered a lady named Lise, the very one causing riots and explosions in Tokyo. Snake knew about her from before. Lise revealed that all of them were connected in some way. Kanta wanted to defeat his cousin Tom and take over his empire, Lise needed the red stone, and Snake was hunting for the people who killed his father. Lise then showed Snake a photo of the person responsible for his father's death, a member of the gang that had killed him. She told Snake that if he helped them, they would hand over the killer to him. Feeling cornered and desperate, Snake realized that in order to move forward, he would have to work with the wrong side again. Back at Tom's empire, Snake began his second level of training under Master Blade, who subjected him to a series of hallucinations. Snake repeatedly experienced the traumatic event of his father's death at the hands of the gangsters. He felt trapped, unable to escape, but Master Blade, knowing Snake had the potential, guided him through the process. Eventually, Snake cleared the second level of training. One night, Snake headed out to steal the red stone. He tried to break into the place through the roof, but the alarm went off, alerting Kira and her security team. Kira quickly figured out that someone was trying to break in and went straight to confront Snake. She confronted him, questioning his true intentions. Realizing the time had come to confess, Snake revealed everything to Kira, how the gangsters killed his father and how he had been alone ever since. His mission was to take revenge on those responsible, which is why he had been forced to work with Kanta and other dangerous figures. Despite this, Snake didn't want to betray Tom or his empire, but his thirst for revenge had pushed him into this corner. Kira began to understand Snake's situation and the pain he carried. Tom's ultimate goal was to avenge his father's death and join forces with Snake, creating a family built on trust and unity. The next day, Snake continued his third-level training in the forest. Master Blade explained that they were at a sacred well, marking an important step in Snake's journey. Snake's test continued with a dangerous trial in the sacred well, where his heart and intentions were tested. Kira had warned him to keep his heart pure, or the consequences could be severe. As soon as Snake entered the well, he encountered 3 massive anacondas, poised to attack. However, the anacondas didn't attack Snake immediately, which revealed that his heart was not pure. Kira, sensing the danger, dove into the well to distract the anacondas and urged Snake to escape. The anacondas, however, refrained from attacking her, as her heart was completely pure. After Snake successfully completed the trial, everyone was angry with him. Master Blade confronted him, insisting that Snake reveal his true intentions. Snake finally confessed everything. The gangsters from the Cobra Gang had killed his father, and ever since, he had been seeking revenge. Master Blade communicated this truth to the grandmother, who decided not to punish Snake, but made it clear that he would never become a samurai or be part of their empire. This deeply saddened Snake, and he immediately sought Tom to apologize. Tom, though hurt and angry, appreciated Snake's honesty. He had always considered Snake a close friend, and if Snake had confided in him earlier, Tom could have helped. Snake promised that he would never hide anything from Tom again. The two made amends and shook hands, but their bond would be tested soon after. That very night, the alarm system went off. It turned out that Snake had deliberately triggered the alarm to divert the security forces. His goal was to steal the red stone. Using Tom's DNA to unlock the security systems, Snake successfully obtained the red stone and attempted to escape. However, Kira confronted him. Snake could have killed her, but he only pushed her aside and fled. When Tom and the others learned of this betrayal, the grandmother was furious and scolded Tom for trusting Snake. Tom, consumed with anger, vowed to retrieve the red stone and, if necessary, kill Snake. The stakes were now higher than ever, and the conflict between Snake, Tom, and their respective loyalties was set to escalate. Kira and Tom immediately set off to get the stone. Snake, as promised, reached Kanta with the red stone. Kanta quickly took the red stone in his hands and started inspecting it closely. He then told Liz that he had other business to attend to first. Kanta called one of his men to check the power of the red stone. As soon as the man used a little bit of its power, he was burned to ashes, proving that it truly contained unlimited energy. Kanta then, as promised, handed over the gangster to Snake, the one who had killed Snake's father. Snake immediately went to the gangster and asked him why he had killed his father. The man replied that they were forced to follow Cobra's orders, and they had to do it because of them. Snake realized that these men were just following orders and that someone else was behind all this. Instead of killing the man, Snake freed him and set off to take the red stone. Snake understood what he had to do and quickly attacked many of Kanta's men's bikes and cars. At that moment, Kira and Tom were also present and saw Snake fighting. Tom, now very angry, went to Snake to attack him. However, after a while, Snake tried to convince him that he had realized they had to fight together to take the red stone from Kanta. Tom once again trusted Snake and they killed several of Kanta's men. The two of them started chasing Kanta with the help of a car, who was heading toward his empire with the red stone in his hands, using it to destroy his enemies. The good thing was that Master Heart and Master Blade were present in the Empire and were trying to stop Kanta's men. Kanta had almost destroyed the entire Empire, and now the Empire belonged to Kanta. Liz had now arrived at the place and told Kanta to give her the red stone since Kanta had what he wanted. But Kanta betrayed Liz as well and started attacking her with the help of the red stone. At that moment, undercover agent Aura arrived to help them. Liz had never expected such a betrayal, but now she turned against Kanta and joined forces with Master Heart and Blade. Soon, Snake and Tom also reached the location, and they formed a team together to attack Kanta's security officers. No one could stand against such a powerful team, and one by one, all of Kanta's men were killed. There were no soldiers left to protect Kanta, but he still had the red stone, which he was using to protect himself. Master Heart and Blade knew that as long as Kanta had the red stone, no one could defeat him. So, they threw a box filled with explosives towards him, which Kanta blasted, causing a massive explosion. The blast sent Kanta flying, and the red stone fell from his hands. Snake rushed to grab it, but Kanta wasn't going to let it go so easily. A fierce battle began between Snake and Kanta. Snake, determined to defeat Kanta, jumped into the sacred well with him, where 3 giant anacondas were waiting. Since Kanta's heart was filled with evil, the anacondas attacked him. Kanta managed to kill one of the anacondas with his sword, but the second anaconda quickly attacked him and killed him. The remaining 2 anacondas snarled at Snake, but after observing him closely, they realized that Snake had a pure soul. He was not evil at all. Therefore, the 2 anacondas did not harm him and let him pass unharmed. Snake emerged from the well safely, and the red stone was now safely in Tom's empire. The next day, everything seemed normal, and Snake wouldn't be killed anymore. However, Tom's grandmother said that Tom could no longer be the heir to the empire because he had used the red stone, which went against their rules. Tom had to leave. Tom was very disappointed, but he was still the rightful heir and would remain so. Although he left, Snake couldn't just sit idly by. He decided that he would go to Tom, convince him, and bring him back. As Snake was packing his things, a lady approached him and showed him some confidential files. These files belonged to his father, who had contributed greatly to capturing the Cobra Gang. This meant that his father had belonged to this empire as well. So, Snake could also be the heir to the empire. However, it didn't seem like Snake was interested in these things. He wore the suit that had been given to him by the empire and set off to bring Tom back. And so, our story ends here.